Did you ever tell a lie so small it didn't seem to matter? A tiny, harmless little thing. But what if that lie didn't just fade away? What if it followed you for the rest of your life, and one day came back to destroy everything you'd ever built? This is the story of Eleanor Vanster, woman who told one final lie and paid the ultimate price for the truth. In the quiet town of Maple Hollow, Eleanor Vance was a local treasure. Everyone adored her. She was the kind librarian with silver hair, soft eyes, and a gentle smile that made people feel truly seen. She remembered every person's name, every favorite book, but behind that calm, reassuring smile was a secret she had carried for 35 long years, a secret she never ever dared whisper aloud. Then, one cold winter morning, the mail arrived. Sitting on her doorstep was an old, yellowed envelope. There was no return address, just her name, written in a trembling handwriting she had unseen since 1989. Her own hands shook as she tore it open. Inside was a single, chilling line. "You lied about the night he died, and now we both know the truth." Eleanor froze. The air left her lungs. No one was supposed to know. Absolutely no one. Back then, she had been just 22, head over heels in love with a man named Thomas Gray. He was a local mechanic with grease-stained hands and a laugh that could fill a room. Everyone in town adored him, especially her best friend Margaret. One rainy, fateful night, Thomas was found dead near the old bridge. The police ruled it an accidental, tragic case of drunk driving. But Eleanor knew better. She knew the real truth because she was there. She saw who pushed him. It was Margaret. But when the police asked, Eleanor said nothing. She told them he slipped, that he'd been drinking too much, that it was a terrible accident, but no one's fault. She lied to save her best friend. And that lie stayed buried for 35 years, until now. With a trembling hand, Eleanor called Margaret, who now lived a quiet, solitary life by the lake. Did you send me something?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. There was a long, heavy pause on the other end of the line. Then Margaret's voice, frail and trembling, replied, "I think it's time we talked." That night, they met at the lake, the same lake where it all happened 3.5 decades ago. The moon hung low and heavy in the sky, painting the dark water in shades of silver. Margaret looked older, tired, the years etched into her face, but her eyes still carried the same piercing sharpness Eleanor remembered. "Do you ever regret it?" Margaret asked, her voice cutting through the silent night air. Eleanor could only whisper back, "Every single day." Then Margaret reached into her coat and pulled out a small, old tape recorder. "I recorded that night, Eleanor." Before Eleanor could even process what she was saying, Margaret pressed play. A wave of static crackled, and then voices filled the air, their voices. Young, terrified, arguing, crying, a man shouting. Then a splash. Thomas's voice echoed from the past, faint and terrified. "Why are you doing this?" Then just silence. Eleanor Eleanor's breath caught in her throat. "You told me it was an accident." Margaret managed a faint, sorrowful smile. "You lied to protect me, Eleanor, but you never asked why I pushed him." Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. "What do you mean?" Margaret looked down at the dark water. "He was cheating on both of us. He told me he loved me, then laughed about it with his friends. I just wanted to scare him. He slipped. I swear he slipped." Eleanor's voice finally cracked. "We could have told the truth." Margaret nodded slowly. "We could have, but you lied too, remember?" Days later, the piercing wail of police sirens echoed down the quiet road by the lake. A fisherman had found Margaret's body. A suicide note was sitting on her kitchen table. Eleanor thought it was finally over. The secret had died with Margaret. But 2 days after that, another letter arrived. It was postmarked after Margaret's death. Inside, the words froze her blood solid. "I'm not dead, Ellie. But I needed to see what you'd do when the truth came back. Meet me where it all began that night." Eleanor drove through a blinding storm to the old derelict mechanic workshop where Thomas used to work. The roof sagged under the weight of the rain. The air was thick with the smell of rust, oil, and decay. Inside, a single lantern flickered, casting long, dancing shadows. And there she was, Margaret, alive. Eleanor gasped, stumbling back. You staged your own death." Margaret smiled, a cold, empty expression. "I had to know if you'd lie again." "Why?" Eleanor demanded, her voice shaking with a mix of fear and anger. "Haven't we both suffered enough?" Margaret stepped closer, holding up the old tape recorder again. "I told the police everything," she said quietly. "About that night, about how you helped me hide the body." Eleanor's heart stopped. "That's not true. I didn't help you." Margaret's eyes darkened, turning hard as stone. "You think he slipped that night?" "He didn't. I pushed him." Eleanor's stomach twisted into a knot of pure ice. Her life, one single lie meant to protect her best friend, had saved a murderer. Outside, the sound of approaching sirens grew louder, closer. Margaret whispered, her voice a venomous hiss. "I told them you helped me. I told them it was your idea to cover it up." Eleanor backed away, hot tears spilling down her face. "You can't do this," Margaret smiled one last chilling time. "It's your word against mine, and everyone knows, Eleanor, you're a liar." She raised a gun. A single shot echoed through the rain-soaked night. When the police burst in, they found Margaret's body on the floor and Eleanor kneeling beside her, blood on her hands, the gun resting beside her. The old tape recorder was still playing, her own voice from 1989 repeating over and over. "It was an accident. Please, don't tell anyone." That night, Eleanor Vance was arrested. The truth, in its twisted form, finally came out. But no one believed her side of the story. Because in the end, the only thing more dangerous than a liar's the person who tells the last one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.